There is a chemical reaction that happens in your brain every time your phone buzzes with a like. It is not subtle. It is not imaginary. It is a real, measurable flood of dopamine, the exact same neurotransmitter that drives hunger, desire, and addiction. And here is the part that should unsettle you. That buzz was not designed for you. It was designed to exploit you. To understand how we got here, you need to go back much further than the invention of the smartphone. You need to go back to a time when being ignored didn't just hurt your feelings. It killed you. For most of human history, survival was not an individual achievement. It was a group project. A lone human in the wilderness was a dead human. Predators, starvation, exposure, injury, any of these would end you if you did not have a tribe around you. Tribal acceptance was not a luxury. It was oxygen. The people who were accepted got protection, food, mates, care when they were sick. The people who were rejected wandered off alone and were never seen again. Natural selection did not favor the lone wolf. It favored the connected human. This created a powerful evolutionary pressure. The brain developed systems that made social acceptance feel good and social rejection feel like physical pain. Matthew Lieberman, a neuroscientist at UCLA, has shown that the exact same neural circuits that process physical pain light up when people experience social rejection. Being left out doesn't just feel like being hurt. To the brain, it literally is being hurt. This is not a metaphor. It is neurobiology. Validation, then, is the brain's way of confirming that you are still in the group, still safe, still worthy of the resources that come with belonging. A nod from an elder, a laugh at your joke, a shared glance of understanding. These small signals were the currency of survival. They told your nervous system that you were not about to be cast out into the dark. They kept the anxiety at bay. They allowed you to function. Fast forward to today. The threats have changed. You are not going to be eaten by a lion if your post gets 0 likes. You will not starve if your comment goes unanswered. But the brain does not know that. The hardware is ancient. The software is running the same code it ran 50,000 years ago. And that is exactly what social media companies figured out. They did not invent the craving for validation. They industrialized it. Think about what a like actually is. In evolutionary terms, it is a hyper-efficient, mass-produced version of tribal acceptance. A single post can receive hundreds or thousands of these micro-validations in minutes. That no human tribe could ever provide that density of approval. No elder could nod that fast. No gathering could applaud that consistently. The brain, encountering this flood, does what brains do. It adapts. The baseline shifts. What once felt like a bonus now feels like a necessity. A post with 10 likes feels like rejection when you expected 100. The goalposts move endlessly, and the brain chases them with the same urgency it once chased food. The mechanism is a classic variable reward schedule. The exact same psychology that makes slot machines addictive. You do not know when the next like will come. You do not know how many you will get. You post and you wait. The uncertainty creates anxiety. The arrival of validation creates relief and pleasure. The unpredictability keeps you checking, posting, scrolling, hoping for the next hit. B.F. Skinner demonstrated decades ago that intermittent reinforcement produces the most persistent behavior. Social media is Skinner's experiment, scaled to 3 billion participants. But here is the most insidious part. It's not just that the system is rigged. It's that you are starting to rig it against yourself. The damage goes deeper than addiction. Social media does not just feed the validation instinct. It warps a real tribe. Validation was complex and contextual. It came from people who knew you, who had watched you over time, who understood your struggles and your growth. It was earned through reciprocity, through showing up, through contributing to the group. Social media strips all of that away and replaces it with a single metric, a number, a count of strangers who tapped a heart. This metric is a catastrophic oversimplification of human worth. It reduces the rich, multidimensional need for belonging into a binary, noticed or ignored. And because the platform controls the algorithm, it controls who gets seen. Your worth is no longer determined by your community. It is determined by an invisible system designed to maximize engagement, not your well-being. The result is a generation of people who feel simultaneously overvalidated and underseen. They have thousands of followers and no one who truly knows them. The comparison engine makes this worse. In a tribe of 150 people, the range of status was limited. There was always someone above you and someone below you, but the gap was visible and manageable. Today, you compare yourself not to your neighbors, but to the most attractive, most successful, most validated people on the planet. Filtered, curated, presented as if their lives were normal. The brain, evolved for local comparison, is overwhelmed by global contrast. It concludes that you are failing, that your status is threatened, that you are at risk of exclusion. The anxiety is constant, and the only relief the platform offers is more engagement, more posting, more chasing of the very metric that is causing the distress. Then there is the performative dimension. Validation in a real community was largely for things you actually did. You hunted, you gathered, you cared for children, you told stories, you resolved conflicts. On social media, validation is often for the appearance of doing things. The meal is photographed, not tasted. The vacation is posted, not experienced. The workout is shared, not completed in private. Life becomes a production designed for an audience, and the audience's approval becomes more urgent than the experience itself. The brain learns to experience reality through the lens of shareability. The moment is not real until it is validated. This creates a profound identity crisis. Who are you when no one is watching? For many people, that question has become genuinely uncomfortable. The self has been constructed so thoroughly through external feedback that the internal self feels hollow, unmoored, uncertain. The craving for validation has moved from a healthy social signal to a desperate attempt to fill an emptiness that can never be filled by strangers tapping icons. The irony is that the more validation you seek, the less satisfying it becomes. Dopamine does not create lasting happiness. It creates wanting. Each hit is followed by a dip, a craving for the next one. The brain's reward system is not designed for sustained contentment. It is designed for pursuit, and social media has turned that pursuit into a full-time job. You are never done. There is always another post to make, another comment to check, another trend to ride. The ancient need for tribal acceptance has been hijacked into an infinite loop of digital labor. So, what does it mean to reclaim this instinct? Step 1. Recognize that the craving itself is not the enemy. Seeking validation is not a character flaw. It is a deeply human, deeply adaptive trait that kept your ancestors alive. The problem is not the need. The problem is the supply. Social media offers a synthetic version of validation that is cheap, abundant, and nutritionally empty. It is the junk food of social connection. It fills the craving without nourishing the need. Step 2. Rebuild sources of validation that are slower, richer, and more reciprocal. Real friendships where the phone is put away. Real communities where you show up consistently, not just when you have something to post. Real skills where mastery is its own reward, not dependent on external applause. These sources are harder to access. They require time, effort, and vulnerability, but they provide the kind of validation that actually satisfies. The kind that says, not just I see you, but I know you, and you matter here. Step 3. Develop an internal metric of worth. This does not mean becoming indifferent to others. It means building a foundation of self-respect that is not entirely contingent on feedback. This comes from knowing your values, acting in alignment with them, and measuring yourself against your own standards. It is not about arrogance or isolation. It is about having a home base that does not collapse every time the algorithm changes. Step 4. Use social media with intention rather than compulsion. This means posting because you have something to say, not because you need the hit. It means checking notifications at set times rather than constantly. It means unfollowing accounts that trigger destructive comparison. It means remembering that the platform is a tool, not a tribunal. Your value as a human being was not determined by a tech company, and it cannot be revoked by an engagement metric. There is a deeper truth here that is easy to miss in the noise of the digital age. The need for validation is not weakness. It is the echo of an ancient wisdom. You do need others. You do need to belong. You do need to be seen and known and valued. These are not optional extras. They are fundamental to mental health and human flourishing. The tragedy is not that we crave validation. The tragedy is that we have settled for a counterfeit version that keeps us hungry while pretending to feed us. The companies that built these platforms understand the psychology better than most users do. They have hired neuroscientists, behavioral economists, and addiction specialists to optimize the feedback loops. They have tested every color, every animation, every single timing interval, all to maximize the dopamine response. They are not evil. They are doing what companies do, maximizing profit within the rules of the system. But the system is designed around engagement, and engagement is driven by anxiety. And anxiety is driven by the ancient fear of being left out. You cannot win their game. The game is designed to keep you playing, not to let you win. The only winning move is to stop playing by their rules, to recognize the machinery for what it is, to satisfy the ancient craving with ancient solutions, real presence, real contribution, real connection. Your brain was built for a tribe of 150 people who knew your name, your history, and your value to the group. That IT was not built for a global audience of strangers, whose attention flickers from one spectacle to the next. The craving for validation is real, and it is valid, and it deserves to be met with something worthy of its depth. Not a like, not a follow, not a number that resets to zero every time you post again, but the slow, steady, irreplaceable knowledge that you are seen, you are known, and you belong, not because an algorithm showed your content to enough people, but because you have built a life and relationships that would matter even if the internet disappeared tomorrow. That is the validation worth craving, and that is the only kind no platform can give you or take away.